So this video may seem a little random, but it's something that's been on my mind for a while. And I just want to let this be known. Like, I'm to the point where for people who think I'm a monster or I'm this and I'm that, my platform is not for you. Like, or if you have looked at me in a dehumanizing manner, you're entitled to look at me however you see fit. I'm not going to try to I'm not going to try to prove my humanity to certain individuals at this point. It just wouldn't make no sense at this stage in the game. But I'm going to really dig into the irony of certain content creators, you know, basically trying to paint me out to be this monster who wasn't there in my life, who wasn't with me, and who conveniently never criticized. And this is more so certain non-black content creators. Like, they never criticize what people in their demographic do and how they react, how they overreact, even if they get mad with one or two individuals, even with the controversy that they might have, to have a woke past, or one at some point who did things related to activism. So basically, you might get on your platform and make a video about people who ain't real, fake friends, or whatever. But you'll never hear these people do content related to the cruelties of racism. Because let's say there's a black person who wasn't always politically correct, but called out a lot of racism, did certain things to benefit black people in his or her community over the years. And hey, sometimes they might have argued. Sometimes they might have said certain things about authority figures that weren't really nice, right? Is it cool to go after an entire community? When is it ever okay to do that? When is it ever okay to pay people to steal a black person's electronic devices and then go after all types of people? It's not just, loved ones or people that they grew up around or from their, hometown or something like that, or school or whatever. Even hey, even maybe other influencers, famous people that, they don't know. I think it's hard for me to take certain people serious because by them making a conscious decision to not call out how cruel that is and how evil something like that is, but they want to make indirect content related to how I'm I'm this and I'm that, or I can't be trusted or whatever. I feel like it's intellectually disingenuous. And at least one of these content creators, not too long ago, they did a video showing all this compassion for the suspect who allegedly shot the United Healthcare CEO. Like, they were able to show compassion for him and the CEO and the CEO's family. And I just thought it was interesting. It reminded me of a conversation that me and some black people had years ago on Facebook. I won't get too specific to protect those individuals. So I won't tell you the names of the individuals that had this conversation, or uh, the name of the platform that used to be on Facebook. But basically, a lot of people in the dominant white society, they're going to always humanize each other. They always going to find time to be able to humanize. And look, I'm even skeptical of the suspect from that shooting. I don't know if he's a patsy. I don't know if it was really him. I don't even know. I've seen what certain people from alphabet agencies are capable of. If you don't understand when I say alphabet agencies, think about the 3-letter major government agencies. I've seen some of the bad things that they are capable of, and I've done a lot of research. So that's why I'm heavy on the alleged shooter part. And somebody already pointed it out. New York City has so many cameras, so for him to be able to get away like that, and then it took that long for them to find, like, I don't know, it's not passing the smell test. But anyway, going back to the point of what I'm trying to make, I kind of miss when certain people made organic content and it wasn't centered around, I don't know, demonizing me. I just miss it when like, see, like, if you want to talk about knowing who you're really dealing with and somebody that might not be trustworthy or whatever, it would be cool if you were already doing that type of content. Like certain people that they might have had spiritual contents. Their content might have been about black magic, light magic, and in between, but it was, to me, it was organic. It wasn't like, okay, let me come up with this today. I'm gonna center this around this individual or whatever. No, I miss when certain things was organic. But anyhow, people have the right to make whatever content they choose, as long as it's not threatening to a different demographic. Like a few years ago, you had people making jokes about wanting to essay certain biracial daughters of certain black women who were either with non-black men or had children by non-black men. You had other threats. You had people stalking black females offline as well. I have reason to believe certain black women got stalked and physically assaulted offline. Or even people that, like, so it's just like, that's another thing I find ironic. I mean, you're going to always be demonized a lot of times for either things that may not be true, or sometimes just how you reacted to the cruelties of society, whether it was something that was done that impacted you or a loved one, or something that was done that impacted somebody who looks like you from your demographic. Excuse me. But see, these people do a good job of demonizing folks, especially if they're black, for not being perfect. But they always got time to humanize some of the worst individuals from their demographic. I think regardless of whether or not people feel like I've been keeping it 100 or not, I seriously think, and it's nothing that nobody can do or say to change my mind, anybody who would be willing to go after innocent people, whether they related to me or not, because they got a problem with me, or they think maybe it was some type of connection to me, and I might not have known them at all. I might have just been a fan. I might have just, you know what I'm saying? If you willing to go after a whole bunch of innocent people just because you mad at one person, right? And then it's like, because maybe you're high up and you're well connected, you got powerful friends and in high places, ain't nothing really gonna happen. A lot of those people are not going to get justice. Their loved ones who may have lost individuals, they're not even going to get justice. Let's just say I'm what he's saying I am. Let's say I'm a snake, right? These people are a million times worse. Because to be angry with me and then to knowingly, after you pay people to take my phones, you investigate, you find out that I have no connection to a lot of public figures. I have no connection to them, but to still actively pursue people. Or let's just say I like the movie. I like the video game. I like certain audiobooks. I like certain TV shows. To know and understand that I have no connection to these folks, but I was a fan, and then drag them into some mess and you know, go after them and their family and whatever, or go after black women and break up their relationships, especially if they was with non-black men. That's that level of cruelty and evilness. That's a different level of cruelty. That's a different level of wickedness and evilness. Like, once you investigate, which can't be difficult for you to do because you've paid people to take my cellular devices. So that's how you know I have no correlation to these. Like, if we don't have a relationship, it's not hard to figure out. Especially certain white influencers on YouTube is like, I don't think they'll ever have enough courage to speak to that, to the reaction that some of their own folks had to me. That strong overreaction to the point where you're dragging other people down, and it's like I wish people would be a real man and get up here and talk about the cruelties of that. But I think that's wishful thinking. Every other day, certain people could come up with new ways to troll me, control my relationship, and da da da. And speaking of, because I'm not sure I pointed this out yet, my circle is very small. I'm not bragging at all. I'm not forcing anybody to be in my circle. And I've advised certain people in my circle what I believe is happening and what they may have to do in order to do better. Sometimes you have to walk away from certain situations so you can do better. And it's not that I'm purposely holding people back. No, it's not me. It's not me. It's the support that certain people have for me that makes certain people jealous. So in their mind, in order to hold both of us down, to hold both of us back, they're going to hold you back because they know that, well, oftentimes I depend on you a lot more. I've already explained the theory that I think. I think things will be normal, once they realize, what I'm saying? We're done. I've already explained that. If I was extremely selfish, extremely narcissistic, that conversation would have never happened. Even to, I'm like, yo, it's getting down to crunch time. I think you should take the last little bit that you have and try to see if you can, for me to, it wasn't easy for me to say that. Especially, I've been benefiting. But even with that being said, I'm still having people making little side jokes and innuendos about the individuals holding me down. And I think it's interesting because we're all adults. I don't mess around with minors. We're all adults. I have a very small circle, and we help each other. The point is, I don't put I don't have a weapon, holding a weapon to nobody's throat or nobody's head, where I'm forcing them to do anything for me. Like I'm a big gangster and I'm controlling people. Like, listen here, this is how it's gonna go. You gonna give me XYZ every month or every other week, or you could kiss your teeth goodbye, or no, it's not like that. It's not all peaches and creams either. We be going through it. Like, look, I'm still grieving for people that I don't even know. Why I personally don't fear death. I don't like to hear about things happening to people in my family or in my community, but especially in especially in my families, even including my extended loved ones, who I may not know very well. Nothing hurts me more. But certain influences, instead of trolling me, because all of a sudden you can't make organic material to go off. I'm challenging you to speak on the other things. I'm challenging you to speak on folks that was taking my phones and then, you know what I'm saying? I challenge you to do that. I have a strong feeling you're not gonna do that. It's easier to paint me as this monster and villain for responding to terrible things happening to people in my demographic. Whether it be because somebody deleted a black man over something petty, or people were threatening black females and something happened to a black girl or whatever. I'm a monster for being angry and hurt and responding to that. What about the people that took it too far? After paying gang stalkers or flying monkeys to steal my electronic devices. Which, by the way, they couldn't find anything. People were sending me pornographic images a few years ago on Facebook, and I had to tell them, like, could you not do that? For starters, it's illegal for you to even possess this stuff. Excuse me. I don't work for the authorities. What am I supposed to do with this stuff? It occurred to me that could have also been the setup. That could have been also another reason why they wanted my. You know what I'm saying? But it had nothing to do with me, and I never asked people to send me that stuff. And the irony is, most people in my community don't care about that type of stuff anyway, because those was little girls. Those was little girls. A lot of black people do not care to protect black girls and black women. This is outside of how people might feel about me and my reputation and the controversy hanging over my head. Most black people absolutely just do not. I mean, black girl children, and that's not really the community's top priority. And I'm speaking as a collective, not on an individual basis. Black people are not a monolith, but as a collective, I think it's fair to say that, anything but a black female is more important to black people. This is also because, well, I come from a black family. I am black. I went to school with other black people. I have black neighbors. and friends and things like that. I see how we do a lot to protect brothers. Sometimes even, hey, when we know they have done things and it's not even up for debate. I've seen how my community have gone above and beyond to sweep a lot of these transgressions underneath the rug, including, hey, protecting, aiding and abetting brothers who may have deleted of other brothers. So that let me know all I need to know about who's more important within the black community. This is outside how y'all feel about me and whether or not I'm genuine or I'm a snake or whatever. Whatever. I learned this as a little girl. I learned that as a little girl, having to, wash out my cousin baby washcloth with water as hot as I could stand it. And nobody felt no empathy or sympathy for me burning my hands in the water. And so many other instances where I was in pain and nobody cared. And not even always physical pain, and nobody cared. Whether they knew about it or not, they just didn't care. I wasn't a human being to them. That's why. Also why I didn't want to have a child that looked like me. My child wouldn't be seen as a human being to other black people. And to not be seen as a human being could put you in grave danger. I should have died a long time ago. This is before I became a target individual. I don't know how I got through certain situations. Dealing with dangerous, toxic people that look like me. Again, this is not every black person. I don't know how I made it this far.